Can you trade every day? Yes. Is there a trade to be found on every chart every day? Yes. But the big ones where you really multiply your money, where you turn 200,000 into a million, that happens because you're waiting for the perfect setup.
Today I sit down with professional trader AJ Writes Crypto.
You don't trade because you feel like it. You don't trade because you're in the mood. You trade because an alarm went off and you need to react to the market.
As I continue my journey to learn how to trade and how to win.
Guess what? I'm still in the trade, winning more and more and more money.
AJ shares with me a few simple techniques to make $100 a day trading crypto, as well as the risks. But most people will lose money trading, correct? And watch today's entire video as AJ executes a live trade on camera.
So now with stop losses and take profits, it's actually very easy to do on BitUnix.
Sign up with exchange partner BitUnix today, and only with referral code Altcoin Daily, earn over $8,000 in trading bonuses, as well as a free $10 just for signing up. This is limited time, link down below.
So right here on Cardano, let's just open a trade just for fun.
Like the video to support me, and let's start. AJ, first question to you as I continue my journey on how to trade crypto, how to get better trading crypto. Are you a successful trader? And I see on your X profile, you have Crypto Millionaire in your bio. Did you make $1 million trading?
Well, I made $1 million as a result of crypto. Obviously I am a content creator. I have sponsors that sponsor my channel. I make money through that. And I feel that that is what gave me the initial chunk starting capital that eventually snowballed into me becoming a crypto millionaire. I would say once I made it to around $200,000 within 3 months, I became a millionaire. So once I got that initial chunk through trading is how I hit the $1 million mark. So yes.
So you're a successful trader, but most people will lose money trading, correct?
Most people are impatient. And in the world of instant gratification, in the world of TikTok, and I want it now, they won't take the time to properly use risk management, to properly set up their trades. They just look at a chart and say, is it going to go up or down? Let's go. So the way I trade, which I'll get into in a minute, is really about when there is a significant occurrence, that is when you should take risk. You don't take risk just because. You only take risk when there's something happens that is like, this hasn't happened in so long, like this is worth rolling the dice on. And I feel that if more people could really pick their shots, if you're trading every single day, you're doing it wrong. You really have to be patient. You have to set your alarms. You don't trade because you feel like it. You don't trade because you're in the mood. You trade because an alarm went off and you need to react to the market.
That makes sense to me. Like in basic terms, if it's trading between two ranges, wait for the breakout, yes, but wait for the confirmation of the breakout. Most of the time you're not trading. It's just when you say, oh, I can take the risk because it hits certain metrics for me. AJ, before we get to some of this crypto strategy techniques, making $100 a day trading crypto, is that possible?
It is possible based off of your strategy. So it depends on if you're going to be a scalp trader, and scalp trading is when, you could be in the trade for 30 minutes to 2 hours, where, swing trading or intraday trading or even intra-week trading, when you're really moving with the larger significant shifting. So if you can say a coin, let's say Cardano, is trading inside of a 20% range for 30 days. Obviously, the break of that range is the real trade. But if you can understand the shifts inside of it and scalp those, yes, theoretically you could. But that's a very specific strategy. So you need to understand going into the trade, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. I will not be in this for weeks. I have a really tight stop loss. Let's go for it. And I feel a lot of people get lost where, someone will, buy $1,000 of a coin and they'll make it to 1100, and then they'll send me a DM and be like, should I sell? And I'm like, well, what was your goal before you put that $1,000 in? So I think a lot of it is knowing upfront what are the terms and conditions of your trade.
Let's flip the camera. Show me a couple of techniques that you use to make money in crypto, as well as setting the stop losses, setting the take profits.
Okay, you can see the chart.
Looks great.
All right, so you're going to do all of your homework inside TradingView. You're not doing your charting inside whatever exchange it is you're trading. You're doing your homework in TradingView. All right. And so generally there are, what you're looking for in any chart is confluence. So if you're trading because of one indicator or because of one RSI or one volume profile or one idea, yeah, theoretically you could trade off one idea. But what you're looking for is confluence, and for all of the indicators to point in the same direction. So, and there's a couple ways to do this, and I want to explain a handful of ways. So this is the chart for Algorand. And why I started with this chart is because I made a lot of money trading Algorand, all based off, seriously, one concept plus confluence. So right here, all the way back in December of 2022, this massive support resistance level printed right there at 16 cents. And then every time Algorand has gone under 16 cents, every time it's gone under 16 cents, or hell, even every time it touched or retested 16 cents here, and even more recently here, that has been the time to buy. That is the accumulation spot. I mean, let's look. So from right here, from 16 cents, boom, 103% in 53 days. Right here from 16 cents, boom, 296% in 18 days. When Algorand breaks 16 cents, or if you can accumulate under 16 cents, you are making money. To be fair, right now, Algorand is 22 cents. So it is a bit above that range. Actually, if it went back to its local high, it would be 173% up. But so why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because it did recently have a bounce off of 16 cents. So now we kind of want to zoom in more and investigate. If you kind of look here on Market Cipher B, I'll pull this up a little bit. You will see as the price was coming down the hill, Market Cipher was going up the hill on a daily time frame.
And what is that tracking? Like Market Cipher tracks what?
It's a volume. It's an oscillator. It's a bunch of indicators slammed into one, like, kind of RSI, money flow, VWAP. It's a momentum oscillator. Okay. And the general takeaway is when you kind of see these momentum waves, you would call this bigger one, an anchor wave. And then these smaller ones would be called trigger waves. And as you can see, this is curving up and to the right as this is coming down into the left, as the price action is coming down into the left. And when the momentum oscillator is pushing up and the price is coming down, they're diverging. And that divergence is what you're looking for. So when you kind of see all at once, remember, confluence is the combination of ideas, right? So when we kind of zoom into both, we will see, oh, okay, right here, when Algorand hit 16 cents, that magic number, it printed this trigger wave right here after a bull div, as the money flow is getting less red coming into the green. And right here, it cleared the 50 EMA. I mean, that's what those are the things. I know I don't want to overwhelm the audience. I don't want to overcomplicate things. I want this to be simple, but
not about the audience. It's about me. Keep it simple for me.
That's fair. That's fair. But I just want to say that trading, you can make it as simple as 16 cents, buy. But then once it hits 16 cents, the why, and the why is confluence based off of volume profiles, momentum oscillators such as RSIs, MACDs, or something like Market Cipher, EMAs, moving averages is a big part of it too. So kind of once you hit a certain level, or say, I'll explain on another chart what a conditional range is. Once you hit that alarm, I like to go through something I like to call the confluence checklist. So once the alarm goes off, do I trade or do I not trade? Well, let's check the confluence checklist. And that has everything to do with, the momentum oscillator, volume profiles, moving averages, etc. So when the big deal with Algorand was hitting 16 cents. And if it ever goes under 16 cents again, buy it. But in the meantime, you also want to take the patterns into consideration as well. Let's kind of ignore market cipher here and kind of look at, okay, well, we hit this high in December. We had a touch here and we had a touch here. So we're still in a confirmed downtrend. So when this alarm goes off, we will be looking at, oh, wow, this alarm finally broke. But the thing is that locally down here, it's been in a local uptrend. So we're Algorand is very close to what I like to call a point of intersection, where this local, this multi-month downtrend collides with the, local uptrend. That point of intersection would be May 6th, Tuesday, May 6th. So in, 5-6 days, Algorand will be forced to lose the local uptrend or break the multi-month downtrend. And that matters. You want to put the chart in a situation where it has to break one way or the other.
Breakout or rejection breakdown.
Exactly.
When you say alarms, is there any way to actually physically set an alarm? Oh, it's about this price. How do you do that?
So let's look at a Cardano chart here. All right. There's a couple examples here. So back in the day, August 24 to November 24, Cardano did something really interesting. So this was like a perfect trade setup, and I'll show you why. So right here from August to November, it did have these kind of smaller breakouts. All right. But most of the chunk of the range, most of the time, ignoring the outliers, Cardano spent 97 days, for the most part, inside of a 19% range. Anytime, and the break of this range is what I would like to call a significant occurrence. So what you do once you identify, okay, this level is extremely important, you make a trend line. So let's kind of delete the trend line. You go up here, you click on trend line, you pull this across this way. Okay. And then you click on it, add alert on trend line right there. If you only want it to go off one time, click only once. But if you want to leave the alarm on, so it goes off anytime it comes up or down from that line, click on once per bar. I generally leave it on once per bar so I know each way. And then you can name the trend line ADA big SR, something like that. Click create, and boom, now we will know if that is to break. And interestingly enough, Cardano is doing something similar, but not exactly for as long as it was before. So right now, Cardano is in just a basic parallel downtrend from the local high back in December. And then it kind of put in this little local low. Where's my brush? Right here around 50 cents. All right. And then it started to walk up the hill as, Bitcoin and all the other altcoins started to walk up the hill. So let's kind of zoom in on the time frame here and kind of examine what's going on. So the yellow lines are the full trend, or excuse me, these yellow lines are the full current range of Cardano, where since it has come up into this level, Cardano has spent almost 9 days in a 12% range. But the heart of this range, the most of the time throughout this 9 days, it's really been inside of a 4% range. So trying to find the range within the range is kind of what I like to call tightening the range, because it's about like I said with the Algorand chart, is to put the chart in a situation where it has to break one way or the other, right? So when we add in the trend line here as well, you'll see that for Cardano to break this support resistance level around 71.8, it will be forced to break out of this local downtrend. So I would say 71.8 would be a great spot to go long on Cardano.
So let's just say I totally understand the reasoning for this. If I wanted to go on BitUnix and set a long, and like, how do I know when to set my stop losses? How do I know when to take profit?
Sure, no problem. So here we are at BitUnix.
As AJ shows me this trade, feel free to follow along with link down below and use code Altcoin Daily for some limited time sign-up bonuses. Follow along with us.
Sure, no problem. So here we are at BitUnix, and generally just a rule of thumb, when you come to futures, you click down where it says ADA USDT, and you want to find coins that have a lot of volume a lot of money trading around. If you scroll all the way down, to Pi or Popcat, these only have 21.2, $21.8 million on the order book. So if you're trying to quickly get in and out of large positions, you want to be in an order book that has a lot of money in it, right? So Cardano has $75 million. You're much more likely to target that coin if you're trading with a larger amount of money. And that's extremely important to understand that concept, especially as a beginner. So I would say, you could comfortably get out of a $200,000 position, maybe $300,000 with that order book. That's thing number one. Thing number two is when you're leverage trading, you want to make sure that you're not trading on cross. Right here it says isolated or cross. So when you're on cross, say you want to have a position size of $5,000. If it goes too far down below the point of where the liquidation would be, the cross trade will actually reach into your other pile of money and use money that's not in that trade to keep that trade alive. Not really what you want to do. So if you go to isolated, the amount of money that you have committed to that trade is isolated for that trade. I highly suggest using isolated, of course, non-financial advice, but trade isolated. And then leverage is up to you. Generally, I've been sticking around 6 or 7x lately. If I'm less confident, I'll use 3x. If I'm very confident, I'll use 9 or 10. But if I'm generally trading around 6 or 7. So right here on Cardano, let's just open a trade just for fun. All right. So it does look like we have this little kind of support resistance right here, and it does look like it's bouncing off of it and coming down. So if I was scalp trading this, I would say maybe going short right here isn't a bad idea just for the hell of it. So let's just let's go $10,000. So with the leverage, it only cost me $1,400 to open this because I'm at 6x leverage. And then I'll just kind of click on the order book where someone is buying. I'll click open short, confirm, boom, just like that. We are in our trade. So now with stop losses and take profits, it's actually very easy to do on BitUnix. So right here, we established that this level has been rejected from multiple times. So I'm going to set my stop loss right above that level. So all you're going to do is you're going to literally drag the stop loss. You're going to click on SL and you're going to move it up. And I'm going to move it up so it has to break that support resistance level where it's been rejected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times now. It has to break that level for the stop loss to hit. And this setting a stop loss prevents you from getting liquidated. You'll never get liquidated if you always use stop losses. And then with the take profit, you could, kind of pull it down to this range here. Generally, to be honest with you, I don't use take profits when I trade. What I do is say, go back to the normal Cardano chart, for instance. So say small time frame stuff, right? This is the little range we're trading. I'll get this out of the way. 1 second. All right. So here's our little range we're trading here, and we're coming down. What I will do, my stop loss will start here. But say the short works out and it's coming down, it's coming down, it's coming down, it's coming down. Instead of using a take profit, I will actually move my stop loss into profits. And say the trade comes to here and I have my stop loss here. If it doesn't hit that stop loss and keeps going, guess what? I'm still in the trade, winning more and more and more money. Most of the time, my trades end because I get stopped out in profit. That is kind of more advanced, but it's a really good way to shore up. The worst thing that can happen is that you make this much money. So moving your stop loss into profits is always a win.
Very interesting. AJ, I'm following along very easily. I know you had 2 more charts to show me, I think. Pepe, one of them.
Yep. Pepe. So this is just general concepts on, we hit this one really big in the Telegram group, that anytime you can kind of isolate a big downtrend like this, it hit its local high in December. It went down the hill, down the hill, down the hill. And then right there, it broke out of that level. And generally, when you're trading breakouts, you don't want to just trade the break of the trend line. You want to have a level for confirmation. So I would say back here, You see how we have that support resistance level right there. And then again, right here, when we broke out, we'd have to also get confirmation. So from that level, boom, we're right there. And that was a top bottom to top, about an 18% profit in 16 days. We did hit that one in the group. And so what I'm saying is, just using this as an example for traders, is to go through your charts and try to find these scenarios where, like, for example, like I said in the beginning, you're waiting for a significant occurrence. You're not trading because you feel like it. You're not trading because you're in the mood. You're waiting for a scenario like this to happen. I think there's a famous quote, being really good at trading means knowing how to do nothing for long periods of time. And that is spot on the money. I mean, can you trade every day? Yes. Is there a trade to be found on every chart every day? Yes. But the big ones where you really multiply your money, where you turn 200,000 into a million, that happens because you're waiting for the perfect setup. And I think, kind of situations like this, being very patient with it, that's how I did it. Okay. And then lastly, Vechain, another one, just kind of across the board, been in a downtrend, broke out, but at the same time, it's still below the 786 on Fibonacci. To do Fibonacci, all you're really doing is clicking on a fib. You're going from the swing low to the swing high. And anytime you're kind of looking to accumulate an altcoin, I would say under the 618, or even better, under the 786, great time to accumulate. So even from here to that, not even its all-time high, but its December high is 191% away. So just from a spot buyer point of view, look for the altcoins that have that. I mean, just back in November, from the bottom to the top, Vechain moved 300% in 31 days. That's pretty crazy. So let's try to accumulate these coins that are capable of that under the 786. I mean, when you talk about XRP, Algorand, HBAR, Vechain, all four of those coins were in the top 10 performers out of the top 100 during our last pump. And I wouldn't be surprised if they repeated itself.
And what is Fibonacci sequence tool? Like, what is the science behind that? It's math.
Yeah, I mean, so the Fibonacci is kind of like it's found in everything. Like it's kind of a complicated concept, but it's literally found in all forms of life, like the magic number and everything. And I just kind of use it to generally you can use it to find support resistance. You can use it to find ranges. This is kind of an elementary explanation of it, but I just pull fibs sometimes just to see, where things are. And generally, if I'm trying to accumulate, I'm looking for something under the 618 or under the 786. But I'm sure you could watch, it's like there are multiple hour-long things that explain the details of Fibonacci. But just as a trader or just someone trying to accumulate crypto, you're looking for it to be under the 618 or under the 786.
Helps give you perspective on where things are.
Right.
AJ, this is why I subscribe to you, because you break things down very simply. I love how you go over the charts on your channel. Links for your channel down below. But I do not want to let you go without you talking about the big Tesla giveaway that I see you and Vechain are doing.
Yeah. So Sonny Liu, really good friend of mine, really great guy. I've been a Vechain media partner for almost a year now. And we were kind of thinking, what can we do to really get people excited about VBetterDAO? Just so you know, VBetterDAO is doing simple actions. You're getting incentivized in the form of free crypto to do simple things, such as use a reusable mug to drink coffee out of instead of a paper cup.
I do that.
You can earn free crypto by taking a picture of your cup of coffee. You can earn free crypto by charging an electric vehicle, or going on a walk, or using your grocery receipts, or cleaning up a park. And there's going to be more and more dApps put on VBetterDAO moving forward. So Sonny and I, throughout 2025, are doing 4 long form podcasts. The first one I just released today, 30 minutes ago. Vechain takeover right there. So this is the first of 4 long form podcasts that we're doing this year. We both feel that there is a lack of long form podcast in crypto. And this is actually something I want to pursue with as many people as possible, just because I feel like, when you put on a Joe Rogan podcast, you just listen to it. It's just in the background. It doesn't have to be about this news story or this project or this. You just kind of, it's kind of more about learning the people behind the gains, the people behind the projects and the characters. And like, I think that there's a gap in crypto content for long form podcasts, and we're filling it. And for each long form podcast we do, we are giving away a Tesla Model 3. If you go to my Twitter at AJ Writes Crypto, pinned to the top, you click on the sweep widget link right there. It will take you to the giveaway. You just kind of just fill in the things, complete a couple actions, and you will be entered. There is a rumor going around that the last giveaway of the year might be a Cybertruck. So stick around. There are three Tesla Model 3s, and the last one is a Cyber. So hey, you never know.
Every quarter, you're giving away a Tesla with Vechain. In my opinion, there is no reason that somebody from the Altcoin Daily Army shouldn't win that.
I'm cool with it. I hope they do.
The links are down below. AJ, didn't you have a QR code you wanted to blast or?
Yeah, it's just pinned to the top of Twitter or the link in
below. Cool, yeah, and links are down below. Okay, cool. Altcoin Daily Army. I think somebody can win. It's either the Tesla or the cash value. Anyway, AJ, thank you so much for taking the time. Final thoughts for the Altcoin Daily Army.
I started my journey in crypto 6-7 years ago now. And it doesn't happen overnight. This is something if you're not studying as if you were studying for a college exam, you got to think to yourself, you're only going to get in what you put in. You're only going to get out what you put into this. So take it seriously, like you're studying for a college exam, except if you get an A on this test, you become a millionaire. Work for it. This isn't a way to get out of doing the work, but if you do the work in this industry, it does pay off. So one day at a time, and get rich or get wrecked.
Link for AJ Tesla down below. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you, bro.